Hello everyone, welcome to our very first video in the series of agent videos. This series we will be interviewing real estate agents in the real estate industry. Today we are joined by Adam Thaha, one of the prominent figures in the real estate industry. He is the owner and CEO of Mr. T, a prestigious real estate company in Sri Lanka. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today.
No problem.
So the first question I want to get into is what made you get into this business? What was the inspiration to start?
Right, so the inspiration comes from my own family. My father was in the business of real estate and he was involved in real estate brokering, I think since the 1970s, if I'm not mistaken, since he was very young. So as a kid growing up alongside somebody who is day in, day out going to see properties, doing it the hard way. Mind you, there was no mobile phone back then, so you had to go to the phone booth, you had to wait the whole day in the property, seeing all that. I felt it's something interesting, and it was not that I really wanted to do real estate, but after I got out of school, finished education, all that, I thought I'd try a few things. So teaching English was one, training people was one, proofreading, editing, writing fathers was another thing, doing a bit of tourist guiding, and real estate as well. So I remember my email signature had all these things: writer, poet, coin collector, stamp collector, tourist guide, real estate agent. And I liked meeting people. All these things helped me to meet people, and real estate worked for me. So I was happy to go ahead with real estate, and yeah, so that's how it all began.
So tell us a bit about the background behind the name Mr. T.
Okay, so one big misconception is that I have a name called Taha, which also starts with T. So that's not the T there. The T there is for talent, trust, and teamwork. I had a firm belief when I was doing all these things, whether it was organizing an event or whether it was collaborating with somebody to do something, you needed these three elements: talent, trust, and teamwork. So in real estate, you need the talent to be. You need to have the talent to be able to find a place, the skill to sell, and then there's also the trust you need to have with your customers, with the sellers, with the clients. And it's not a one-man show. You may have the client, you may be able to do all of it, but with the help of the others, the buyer, the seller, the landlord, the tenant, the lawyer, and the relatives sometimes, because there are people who live overseas. So it's a bit of a collective effort. So the teamwork has to be there as well.
So tell us a little bit about Mr. T.
Okay, so I have already given you the definition and why the name Mr. T. We started in 2010. We are focusing now mainly on luxury properties. We're looking at apartments and luxury houses. In terms of where we are operating, we are currently strongly concentrated in and around the city of Colombo, but we're slowly expanding to the suburbs as well. And we have plans of capturing the entire island at some point, and we want to become a leading service provider of real estate, not just in Sri Lanka, but also in the world. So we have plans of developing the business and expanding into other territories as well.
So tell us how the journey has been, how long it has gone for over the years.
So it's been running since 2010, and it's a roller coaster ride. We've had our ups and downs. Back when we started out, I was alone, and though I had early success, I struggled for 2 years without a transaction, without a successful deal. I was going to Kandy to see mountains for sale. I was going to see houses. I was going to see lands, all kinds of office spaces, and for a good 2 years, I had no luck. And then it occurred to me that I should focus and be focused on luxury properties, and it worked out well for us. We've moved 4 or 5 offices since we started, and our current office where we are in Colombo 3 is the largest office we've rented. And we've had close to 75 people who have come and been a part of our journey. And we've had a lot of partners who've helped us along the way, including our technology support that we receive. So it's been a very rewarding journey as well, and something that will be very close to my heart.
So tell us a bit about the real estate industry. Take us through the selling process.
Right, so the industry is evolving as a whole. Back in the day, it used to be just lands and houses. Maybe you had estates, but now it's got much broader. You have luxury apartments that has taken a very large portion of the industry. If you take Colombo per se, I think we have close to 10-15,000 apartment units with another 10,000 that are in the pipeline. So there's a lot of things happening. The industry is evolving. In terms of the selling process, let's look at it like this. So you have a property which needs to be sold, and the first thing you would want to do is you want to figure out what the price is. What kind of price should you set? So if you are somebody who doesn't know the market, who doesn't know, okay, what's the value of my property? So there you are going to have a question, because if you don't price it right, you will take a long time to get it sold. So what you need to then do is you need to see if you can pick a good agent. So don't just pick one agent. Pick maybe 2-3 agents. Call them, meet them. If you can, visit their office and see if you can get an opinion. Then decide on which agent you want to go ahead with, and thereafter sit with your agent and see if you can get some information with the agent on what the price could be of the property you want to sell. Of course, there are people who have prices already predetermined, meaning they already have a price in their mind. And that's not how the market works. At a certain period, at a certain time, depending on where your property is, there is a price for it. And if your price is right, then you can sell it faster. If your price is not right, then you can take from anything up to 3 to 6 years. And eventually you may have to even come down on the price. So that's something to look at. So after you get to the point where you have found your agent, you need to sit with your agent and see and check with the agent on the price. Like ask them, okay, how much can I price this at? And then what you can also do is you can get a bank involved, or you can get a valuation done. We have the Institute of Valuers in Sri Lanka. They're certified. You can get them to come and do a valuation, and then you can cross-check the price points given by the agent as well as the Institute of Valuation officer. And if you want to go a further step, you can even get a bank involved. You can tell the bank you want to mortgage it, and therefore you need to see what the value is. The bank will also come and do a valuation. So you have different ways of finding out what the price is. Don't make the mistake of setting the price on your own. Figure out a methodical way of getting to the price. After you get to the price, leave it to your agent. If you want to do the selling on your own, and if you don't want to pay the agent anything and you want to get it done yourself, then don't involve an agent. Maybe just get a second opinion from the agent, pay them for their services, get the price point, end of episode. But if you are trying to sell and if you're getting your agent also to sell, then there's a conflict there. The agent won't like it when you're marketing it direct, because if you find a buyer on your own, the agent will lose out. So that's something sellers need to look at. So the better way is, in most countries, the sellers don't get involved when a property is sold. The agent does all the selling. The property owner just gives the keys to the agent and says, okay, do your thing, do your magic, just sell it for me. And the seller only appears in the last minute when the buyer has confirmed with a concrete offer in writing. So after the marketing part is done, once the client comes in, you need to sit with your agent and see if you want to get a reservation deposit when a client confirms, how the negotiation happens. Are you going to keep a big margin and say the price is negotiable, or are you going to set a realistic rate and say, no, look, it's a fixed price. There's no negotiation involved, we've put a reasonable price. Because some people, they do that. Some sellers in Sri Lanka, what they do is, say for example, if the property is priced at 40 million, and say if that's the price they want, they'll tell the agent, look, I want 40 million to my hand, you keep your commission and you market it at whatever you want. Now that doesn't work, sadly, because you can't do that. You have to include the price with the commission you're paying to the agent if you're getting an agent involved. You can't say, I want 40 million to my hand. The agent is not doing charity. They also need to be paid properly, and negotiations can get really ugly. So you need to tell them, look, 40 million is my last price. Let's market at 45 or let's market at 43. Don't worry about your payment. Your 3% it's included. So always be on the same page, especially with reference to the price, with the agent. Don't have a separate price in your mind. Don't have a separate price to the agent, because word spreads very fast. And when multiple buyers and multiple agents get involved, things can get complicated. Sometimes clients can take advantage of this difference in price point, and eventually reduce the price further. So it's very important to be clear on the price. So initial stage is that you have to find an agent, set the price right, let the agent do the marketing, and then after the buyer comes into the picture, you have to see if you can get all the communication in writing, because property is a big deal. It's not like selling soap or shampoo or any small product. You're talking big money, you're talking lawyers involved, you're talking paperwork, you're talking it's a lot of things, and you don't want it to go haywire. You don't want some kind of fraud happening. You don't want any bad things going on. So to be on the safe side, when the buyer comes into the picture, this your agent should do. Ideally, the agent is in charge of all these things, because at some point, the agent will have to introduce the buyer to the seller. So at that point, you need to make sure you have your communication in writing. At Mr. T, what we do is we take it all on email. We make sure things are on email. Even if the client calls and says something, look, I have these concerns, I want to know these things, or whatever. We go back to the computer and we type it out and we say, look, the client has told us these things, and we put it in writing. When you put it in writing, it reduces the risk, because sometimes your signal may not be clear over the phone, so you might not have heard the client right, and you might have misunderstood the message. But if it's in writing, it is cut and dry, in black and white. This is what was said, this is what it is, and you have reference. So put it all in writing. When the client starts to negotiate, if they negotiate, that is, you have to make sure you get their final price in writing. It has to be through an email, or it has to be through a signed document, but it has to be in writing. You don't want to just say, excuse me, sir, or call the seller and say, look, my client is offering this much for this price. And then you go back to your client and he says, no, I didn't say this price. But if you have it in writing, then that is how you pass a concrete offer across to the seller. So the seller gets the offer. And thereafter, there are a few ways you can go about with the selling process. Some of the sellers, they directly want the lawyer the lawyers to connect. So lawyer to lawyer, you get to connect. And some of them, they are happy to give you a copy of the documents. That's a bit risky, but some of them are okay to do that. So I would suggest, whatever you do, if you're giving a set of documents through your lawyer, or if you are giving it, have a letter, a note to say, okay, I'm giving these documents to you. Here's the list of documents. These documents are accepted by XYZ for such and such person, and get it signed, and that's how you pass the documents. Of course, again, like I mentioned to you, you don't have a proper clear-cut process on what exactly is the next step. Some people, some sellers, of course, I don't know if it will work, but it hasn't worked in a big way here from my experience. They ask for a payment before releasing the documents. I'll tell you why. Because there are clients in the market who are not genuine. They will come, they'll see your property, they'll be interested in it, or they'll pretend to be interested in it, and then they'll say, can I have the documents? Can I have the building plan? Can I have this, the deed, all of that? They'll take your building plan and they'll make a photocopy of it and they'll build a house with the same plan. And then they'll give you the documents back and say, oh no, we changed our mind, we're not buying. So to avoid that, some people, they ask for a reservation payment. So that's to make sure you're serious. You really want the place, therefore, pay me the money. And you can have a small agreement at that point to say, look, if there's a fault in my documentation, I will refund the money to you. And if you are pulling out, then I will only give you 50% of the reservation fee, whatever it is. It can be 10% of the selling value, it can be 5% of the selling value, whatever. I'll give it back to you, but only 50% because it's by default, you're defaulting, not me. You could say that.
So how difficult would you say it is to find clients in the industry?
Okay, it is not easy, but there are ways to find clients. We are in a buyer's market, or if I may put it in a more simpler definition, we are operating in a market space where you have lots of properties and very few people interested in these properties. So it does take time, and it's become difficult after we got hit by the pandemic, but we are seeing the market is picking up now. So we have to do the marketing. It cannot, some people think we are carrying clients in our pockets. It's a myth, we are not. We can't carry clients in our pockets because there are very few clients in the market. And that's why the government is trying to get FDIs to come in. That's why we are trying to bring money into the country, because when the money is brought into the country, only things happen, real estate is purchased and so on. So it's not easy, and it's not very difficult as well if you do the marketing right. So we have a very active and a very energetic digital marketing team that does a lot of digital marketing for us. We are not fans of the traditional methods of marketing, such as advertising on newspapers. You would never see a Mr. T ad easily on a newspaper, or a hoarding on the road, or you'll always see us somewhere on Facebook or Instagram making noise. So that's been our strength.
So apartment complexes are coming up around the Colombo skyline. Luxury apartment complexes. In your experience, what do you think people prefer more, apartments or houses?
It's a very interesting question because it would largely depend from person to person. Living in houses is horizontal living. Living in apartments is vertical living. Now, both have their pros and cons. When you are living in an apartment, you have three main aspects which come to mind. One is convenience. You don't have to worry about pipes leaking and stuff getting caught on the roof of the apartment or anything. Nothing of that sort. Second thing is security. You can just lock it up and go overseas. And when you come back, it will be as it was. Whereas you can't do that with a house. With a house, the risk of getting somebody to come there, or robbery, or anything can happen. And the third is the facilities. You get a pool, you get a gym, you get a rooftop garden, you get other games, you get all of these additional things, which you won't get in a house. So it will depend on the person. If you are somebody who is an investor, buying an apartment is an option, because you can buy it, rent it, and then sell it. You can buy it, keep it, and then sell it. Or you could even buy it as your retirement plan, because once you get old, it's going to be difficult for you to walk around the house. It's going to be difficult for you to maintain the garden in your house. You might as well move into an apartment. So we are seeing that happening. We are seeing old people moving into an apartment. We are seeing young people, as they get married, they move into an apartment. And the other thing is, it really is a very easy way to live life. It's less complicated, because we are living in the city. It's a fast life. We need everything to be there at our fingertips, and it just makes life so much easier when you're in an apartment than a house. Some houses, if you don't have the door shutter, you have to wait for somebody to open the door. In the apartment, it's not the case. It's all automatic. You have card access. You can just go up, lift will work. There are pros and cons. One may say, yeah, if you live in a high-rise building and if there's a power cut, then maybe the lift won't work. Some buildings have a generator. Sometimes you may have to take the stairs if the lifts are being serviced, but those are one-time things. Overall, the benefits of living in an apartment outweigh the benefits of living in a house. But again, if you're a person who likes to live in large spaces and you like your privacy and you want to be grounded, you want to be on a property that is firm, and you think this is actual land that you own, then maybe living in the house is the best choice for you. We see a mixture of both types of clients. We see clients who think that living in an apartment is like living in a block of air, and they think they actually don't own any land. See, the idea is to make your life easier, to make it more convenient, for you to utilize time more effectively when you're living in an apartment. So it has its pros and cons, and you can always buy an apartment for investment.